And good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. Good morning. Hey, Shelby, I see you tapping in. Good morning. Good morning to the folks getting ready to log in on Facebook, YouTube. If you're there already, what's happening? If you're on your way, come on. We got a show to do this morning. Let me say good morning to the bros in the studio. Ride out.
It is I. It is I. Yes, indeed.
You done whining about your hat. You got your hat now. We good. We ready for tomorrow for Juneteenth. You ready?
Well, I am super excited. Brother Big T, would like to say thank you for the hat. I wish you would have took into consideration that I have locks. So I got to make it a little bit wider on my head, but it's cool. I like it, man. I love it, man. I'm going to wear it tomorrow. If the Lord say the same, as the church folks say, wear it tomorrow. And, style and profile.
Can't nobody be responsible because you got a big head.
Hey, you understand me?
Trying to blame it on the hair.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Negro, you got a big head, man.
Got more head than you got body.
I'm just saying. Well,
Shell, other than that, I'm doing great. It's partly cloudy and cool outside. Meteorologist Maine Candela.
No need.
Yeah,
No need for yo.
Put on a jacket
no need
and
for
some earmuffs. You'll be all
right. Please stop. Please stop. Let me hurry up and go to Clark. What's up, Clark? Man, thrilled to be with you this morning. You good, bro?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
You look dapper over there. It ain't nothing like people who look like they take a bath, man. It's just you look all fresh, clean.
Hey, hold on.
Skin look good.
Hold on.
Clothes, spot free. You just got an air of freshness about you. I had to tell this brother one time. I said, see, y'all don't think people know.
Yeah.
Negroes know when you don't take no shower on a regular basis. They know when you're not fresh.
When you ain't fresh.
you just picking up sweatpants off the floor and coming
and just throwing them on.
Y'all think y'all fooling people.
Yeah.
But there is a certain smell that goes with freshness.
That's soap or something.
No, they think they wash their face. So you gonna smell that. Trust me. And you can't put cologne. My mama be telling my brother, you just gonna put that cologne on top of that phone. That's what you gonna just keep splashing that brute.
That sounds like one of them.
Yeah. What was it? Brute 35?
45.
You gonna keep splashing that
bottle.
Yes. You gonna keep splashing that brute on 45 on top of that funk. Yeah. So I just want to compliment you, Clark, because when I came over there, you duck off over there because can't nobody see you on this side. And you stood up. I said, man, I like that light gray on him. I'm like, he looks so fresh, so recently showered. I just
recently showered.
I'm just saying, hey. What? No, man, no.
No, I just said that's how some women at this.
Hey,
like
do you?
Y'all women know this. Trust me, y'all know this.
But I mean, I'm trying to tell people that like everybody know this. They just don't say nothing.
Yeah, they just don't say nothing.
Like we had this dude. You can smell his shoes through his feet through his shoes. It's like, hey, bro.
I had a guy like
hey,
that.
bro.
Throw them shoes away.
Why not? Throw them shoes away or wash them.
No.
Wash your feet.
It is over with. Throw them shoes away.
But like,
throw your feet
people
away.
don't do throw your feet away.
Throw your feet away.
People don't do a good job of washing their feet. It's like, hey,
your feet away.
If you can't bend down, you gotta get one of them brushes with that long handle so you can wash your feet thoroughly.
Just stand there.
Just what?
Just stand there. Just
Jermaine,
put some peroxide.
We not taking
bleach. Put some
bleach,
Fabuloso.
Dude. Fabuloso on your feet.
Stand there. If you can smell your feet through your shoes.
Fabulous.
Yes, you need to stand. Yes.
Fabuloso for
Stand
feet.
Fabuloso. Stand in some bleach, some pie sauce, get you some baking soda.
Fabuloso for your feet.
Cook you some bacon, take the grease, and pour it in there. And just stand there.
That's a whole new use. Do not, the views and opinions, do not do what Jermaine suggested and put Fabuloso on your feet.
Stand there, man.
Don't do that. Your toes gonna fall off. Don't listen to Jermaine.
Don't you want your feet to be fabulous? You gotta stand in some Fabuloso.
Clark, stop laughing. Don't encourage it. Don't encourage. And stupid stuff never makes sense.
It makes sense.
We're gonna stop.
I mean, especially when you can smell your feet.
You got these folks out here
crazy,
doing way too much. All right, so a number of things to get to. First of all, let me just say I am excited about Juneteenth tomorrow. Let's clap for freedom.
I'm free,
Let's clap for freedom. But and I'm gonna talk a little bit about Juneteenth. But I heard this piece on Facebook, and the young sister, she where's my messages at? She kind of messed up my little freedom celebration for just a moment, but she said some stuff that I thought extremely important. Let me see if I can find her. Where's she at? Yeah, she said some stuff about what we consider freedom today. We are still. Oh, here we go. Let me let you. Can I play this, sister?
Capitalism is now what it's called. Got my people brainwashed. I'm talking living and dying by these jobs. Plantations turned corporations. Cotton fields turned into warehouses or office spaces. They selling dreams of financial freedom with the price of your time. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, but my baby is turning 5. And I know you said during peak season there's no days off, but how do you expect me to tell my child the jobs don't care about memories? That they'll work you until you're just a memory and post your position opening before your obituary? Tell me what's freedom when rent got you rationing on the first. When your labor makes billions for your company, but your check don't even cover your hearse. Tell me what's freedom when you can't even afford to walk out that door. Can't afford to quit because debt will come for you just as quick as that whip and master. Don't care if you got your master's. The only thing you're mastering is the art of the employee. Trained to put the plantation's needs before me. Certified to people please to save my humanity. Trading passions for paychecks, dreams for nightmares, freedom for fake security. We all a big happy family until that budget gets tight. So Congress can't make a decision. Now you got to lean on your community just to feed your kids at night. How I give you 20 years of my life, miss birthdays, suffer back pains and sleepless nights just to get replaced by someone you paying half the price. Tell me I'm not in chains when every time I hear that alarm clock ring, I can feel the dopamine leave my brain. Tell me I have control when my freedom lies on the accrual rate of my PTO. 12 years of school being told to dream big just as long as it's not bigger than my cubicle. Tell me why my people chasing the weekends like salvation, finding their happiness on hourly occasions, praying Friday come fast just to resurrect from exhaustion, only to die again Monday morning. Is this the American dream? The land of the free? Or are we just the slaves who didn't know they were slaves? I mean, they dress up our chains with benefits, salaries, and fancy names, so it gotta be okay, but why they teach us about everything else in school except how to be financially free? Why was everything about where to invest your time into instead of where to invest your money? Why was the rule of 72 not a part of the curriculum? Half the people hearing this don't even know what that is, but best believe just as my parents, I'm gonna teach my kids college ain't a golden ticket to freedom. Go after whatever it is you dreaming. I refuse to let this be my life. I'd rather God take me tonight than to live another day shackled to this life. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Slavery never left us. It just evolved. But it's up to you to take that distorted lens off. Thank you.
So this was a young sister, did a spoken word piece about slavery. And she said slavery never left. It has basically just taken on a new form. And I have said this to myself. I've said this to good friends. We just traded in one plantation for another. And what did she say? They dressed it up with salaries, benefits, and a couple of days of vacation. But when she said the line that you making companies billions while you don't have enough money to pay for your hearse, And then, you thought that you were indispensable and you broke your neck showing up every day, and they've already hired your replacement by the time your obituary is being printed. The idea that, I watch people, present company definitely included previously. I have changed a lot of things since leaving the Capitol. But I was working on vacation because I went far behind. Many of us, we will miss. What did she say? My 5-year-old is having X, Y, and Z, but I'm at work because y'all want me to believe that the memories that 5-year-old has is not important. So I really appreciated this sister's take on what we actually call freedom. What did she say? We can't wait to Friday just to die again on Monday because you back on the grind. So I think that last caveat that she had in there about we are not being taught how to invest money, how to invest financially in our futures, how to build generational wealth, what we need to do. One of the things that Roland Martin would always say is, as long as you got a mortgage, you got car payments, you got this, you got that, you are not free. You are not free. You are beholden. Somebody else's name is on the title to your deeds, not yours. Or at least not yours in the sense that you own it. You the one responsible for the note, but you don't own it. We've had conversations with folks talking about their houses and what they're going to leave their kids. And it's like, do you own the house yet? Because you can't leave somebody something you don't own. And I don't mean the loan is in my name, the mortgage is in my name. Of course I own it. No, the bank owns it until you pay it off. And so many of us will pass away not having taken care of that business and end up losing the house anyway. Freedom and what we think of freedom today, I think we need to examine. You want to say something, Jay?
Yeah, I was just thinking about what you just said and how, with the home ownership, how, this administration was talking about 50-year mortgages,
Think about that.
Knowing that even if you get that house at 30, you'll be 80 years old when you pay it off. So they are really banking on you not to even live that long. But if you do, yippee, pay us our bread. If not, holler at you at the crossroad, we're taking that house back.
A 30-year mortgage was already long as heck.
Already, because if you...
I know a lot of people that cut it down and did theirs in 15, depending on, where you were, what kind of house you had. But it's just like when they took car loans to 7 years.
Right.
And I'm like, why in the hell would I be paying for this car for 7 years?
Interest.
They killing you.
Interest.
They killing you slowly, man. 7 years. And some people, they believe that's what I got to do to get a lower car payment. But it's a lower car payment, but you paying way more money over time. So either knuckle down, do what you got to do to have more money on the front end and go get that car. Then I'm getting ready to pay you an additional $10, $15, $20,000 more for that car than I should have paid. I remember when I was cooking my Jeep and the dude was like, let us, we settled on the price. And so now how are we gonna pay for this? And he said, because, we can find you a lender. But I said, no, I brought my own financing. Oh, I said, and don't run my credit because I brought my own financing. Mm-hmm. They ran my credit. I found out later they ran my credit anyway. Because when I saw my Experian report drop by 2 points, and I was like, what? And then I went and saw that they had ran my credit, even though I told them not to. But then, how we got, y'all ain't got to do nothing. I already worked this out with my folks, my bank before I got here. I don't need you to do nothing for me. It is crazy how what looks like is help usually is a trap. 50 years, you will die before you pay that mortgage off, most likely.
And they know that.
They counting on it. Because if you don't buy that house at 20, 25, you buy that house in your 30s.
Some now at
40s. Yeah, because it's taking you longer to be able to get the house. Why would I have a 50-year mortgage? That is madness. So as we are getting ready to celebrate Juneteenth, we got to ask the questions about what freedom really looks like to us. What does that mean? All that our ancestors went through to get us to this point. The fights they fought, knowing they would not be the immediate beneficiary. They was doing it for us. So what did we do with the freedom? How have we protected the freedom? Protecting the freedom, do we participate in the civic engagement process? Do we vote? Do we run for office? Do we support candidates? That's one side of it. But the other thing, a lot of us heard growing up, freedom ain't free. It don't just happen. It don't fall out the sky. You got to work for it. But I think some of us need to define what is freedom. The other day, and caller, here I come, and I got to take a break. The other day, I saw this bad bag I wanted. I was like, I got like really nice bags, but the reality is I don't carry them. I carry the same bag every day, but because I don't have that kind of job. I don't have a job where I'm going into an office and I got a style and profile. That's my mama, the old school. People watching what I got on. I'm in here with these dudes. I can wear sweats every day, which I do. And then, now I work for myself. So I don't dress the way I normally would dress. And so I don't have to buy, but I saw this bag, but I'll buy the stuff. I just don't wear it half the time. But so I said, oh, this bag is cold. The bag was like $300. I said, you know what? You set the goal that Jeep was going to be paid for before your birthday. Take that $300 and put that on the principal of that Jeep. And then you watch your stuff change in terms of your, projected payoff date and all of that. But I was like, because you're not going to carry it. Take the $300 and put it on the principal on that Jeep.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because my wife, I brought her. We got 10 persons at home and she ain't carrying none one of them.
And don't get me wrong. I'm going to carry it, eventually. But like I said, in my case, I just don't have that kind of job that I'm flexing every day on gear. So we got to talk about freedom, but let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, Johnny, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing this morning, John?
Pretty well. I heard the last couple of seconds, the minute of that young lady sounded like a young lady.
Yes.
Pardon me?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And she said the rule of 72. Did you hear that part? It's
yes.
Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, I'm not good with math, so forgive me about that part. But I was thinking in terms of tens and sevens. And they got their special little 72. So, okay. If you grow at 10%, your money, whatever the original dollar is, going to double every 7 years. If you're only getting 7%, it's going to double. It's going to take 10 years. The average stock market whole over 100 years is double digits. So that means we're getting, on average, 10% minimum on average. That means you have to think in terms of 10, 20 years. You can't say, I'm going to double my money in 5 years. Now, that first dollar might double in 5 years, but you're not just putting in a dollar. Like back at Christmas time when you guys were talking about the kids, and we were starting a little fun for the kids. And so the key is, this is what makes capitalism work. And so the margin of what we put away, like you just said a couple minutes ago about the bag, and we all see something pretty and nice and beautiful. We could take that. Now, if you're not putting it into something that you plan on selling, or maybe you're going to have a little closet full of bags that you're going to turn around and sell, that's a different story. But like you were talking about it, more like for the beauty of it and the art, like collecting guitars you're never going to sell, you know? And so this is where we get into the political economy, is that I'll be as polite as possible. When AOC said the other day, at least I heard she said it, that you can't possibly be a billionaire and be honest. I thought, oh my God, she just keeps doing this to herself. When she said capitalism is irredeemable, I thought, oh no. Just stop. Do some research first. And if she's thinking this, and she's saying this stuff, and Oprah Winfrey, I read on the Forbes 500, was the first Black woman to make the billion list. Now, did she or didn't she? I don't know. I read that Forbes said she did. So I'm thinking, did Oprah Winfrey get rich ripping people off? This is the actual question. So we got to solve these things and say, no, you can criticize Republicans, but if we leave it in the Republicans' hands to always do the capitalist thing, and the Democrats just go farther and farther and farther and farther into AOC land, no matter how nice she is, to say those types of things, it's a mentality that's a margin of saying, we need to give more to the government. Or would you talk about the House? When you pay property taxes, you're essentially a serf. I know this is bizarre, but just think of it. You're never going to be out of debt to the city. Now, there's other ways to pay for that. You could have registration fees. You could have your title and the deed registration. Maybe it has to go up. I don't think it does. But now, once you're done, you own that house. You shouldn't owe the city forever and ever. Plus, it's the contrary thing. Do I want my local property value to go up? Well, then my taxes are going to go up. So there's this schizophrenic attitude that we've built into our society. We're all serfs. We want to be owners, but we're essentially serfs to our local government. But it's us. So we rationalize it and say, well, that's us. We're paying ourselves. No, we're not. We're paying a little aristocrat government that has the same rationale as aristocracy always does, whether it's the white Klansman destroying Black Wall Street or the local black guy taxing a black guy or a Jewish guy taxing a Jewish guy. It doesn't matter who they look like. It could be exactly your same ethnicity. My ethnicity, it doesn't matter. He's my enemy because he's taking my money against my will, but yet I voted for him because this is just the way it's been done. This is just the way it's been done for hundreds of years.
No, you're absolutely.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm up against a break, John. So I certainly appreciate this. So I said, well, John got here early this morning. And so I'm up against a break. But no, there's a whole bunch of merit to what you just said. I'll expand on it a little bit on the other side of the break. Thank you so much for the call. And it's good to hear from you. I appreciate the call. Let me go to a break, y'all. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. We'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. Let me say good morning again to the folks checking in on YouTube and Facebook. I see you all. What's going on, Colorado? I see you in the building. You know, I got Ohio in the building. I see some Dallas in the building. Good morning, family. It's good to see y'all. All right, so a couple of things. So John, and I'm glad that John called in because I had made a mental note when the sister said in the spoken word piece that I played on the air, there will be people that don't know what the rule of 72 is. And it really is, a way to understand how fast an investment can grow. You know, what inflation can do to erode purchasing power and why starting to save and investing early, why it matters. The common example, if inflation averages 6%, you take 72 divided by 6 equal 12 years. Prices will roughly double every 12 years, meaning your money's purchasing power is cut in half. So the easy way they say to remember it, divide 72 by the percentage rate, and you'll know how many years it takes to double. It's not an exact, number, but it's fairly accurate, according to most people who understand the game. Just a quick real life example. You invest $5,000 at 8% annually. It takes about 9 years for that to double to become $10,000. In another 9 years, it will double again to 20. And in another 9 years, it can double to 40. So that initial $5,000 in the course of 27 years at 8% annual growth can double to not double, but can amass or reach $40,000. The ability to be able to have some money and just leave it lay and let it sit. So I'm glad he mentioned it, because I had, I was getting ready to move on and not talked about the rule of 72. So I appreciate that John came back and flagged that. When you talk about somebody like Oprah Winfrey and how people become a billionaire, she is a billionaire, and how people can become a billionaire and how they can become it in what seems like a relatively quick amount of time. You also got to look at the specific ways people make their money, because Oprah Winfrey, who's been in the media business well over 20 years, you buying and selling, shares in your company and your media newspaper, magazine, your Harpo Studios. Like it's plenty of ways to make money that we traditionally haven't really thought about. So I just wanted to say that. Let me grab this caller real quick while I get ready to hit a couple of things. I'm gonna try to hit a couple local things because I got a guest coming in at 8:00 for a little bit this morning. But let me catch this caller. Hey caller, what's happening?
X60 WNOV, Michelle Bryant, say something real from here to New York championship game. I had to call and just say something real. I just want a special shout out to your staff, all the brothers and sisters that's working around you, and all the support that you give for the community. Hey, I just called in today because I got to take a trip to Florida. My baby daughter passed away at the age of 40.
I'm sorry.
I'm a keep spirited on because you always told me to laugh and be smile and just say something. And Michelle Bryant, and don't forget, I love the show. They hear you in Africa. They hear you. You in Egypt. You all over. You at New York at the parade today. They hear you. And you say something real. And the Ray Beckers, I love you. And the pie.
Oh my God. Love you back, Ray. Love you back.
All the time.
All right, Ray. And the thing that's so funny is because of the trips that I have taken, it is interesting. So I meet people, like everywhere. And so when I was in Cape Town in South Africa, I met this group of they were a soccer club, and they were taking a picture, and I photobombed their picture. It was crazy because it's all white boys, and I just jumped in the middle of their picture. And so instead of what, they grabbed me, and so they holding me, and we taking this picture together. We all laughing and cutting up. And so I ended up talking to them. Some were from Amsterdam, different places, and one thing led to another. And they was asking me about what I do back in the States, and told them about the show. So there are two of them for sure on a daily basis. They listen to the show and talking about, I'm learning so much about America. No, you're not. Not listening to this show. No, you're not. But it is funny that I meet people and end up having folks that tune in. When we were on the cruise in Greece, it's a young couple that listen. They actually travel around the world, but they listen to the show, and they'll messenger me and oh my God, when you said X, Y, and Z today, and I'm like, I just can't believe it. So I appreciate what Ray said. I want to do this for a second before time gets away from me, and I think it's almost kind of interesting because of the conversation I'm going to have. Where is the chord? I want to play something for you all, and I want to give appropriate credit. I had heard about this, but I hadn't seen the actual video. And when I left the station yesterday, Larry Daniels was on, and we don't have it. Okay, she was on, and she ended up playing it, and I just so appreciated that she played the clip. So I was like, I gotta go get that because I want our listeners to hear. There are elements of Project 2025 that we have not discussed with a great degree of regularity, if at all. there are some elements we don't understand about Project 25 yet. People have not been focusing on them, but there has been this conversation that has been happening more and more, getting more and more public attention about people believing that women should no longer have the right to vote. Okay. Let me see if I can play this clip for you. Hold on. Let me know when you're ready, Jay. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Are you planning on voting in the midterms?
The people that voted for Trump are just very fed up. Both my husband and I are really disappointed.
What is the number one motivating factor for you when you decide, who you're going to vote for?
I don't want a party that's going to tell my son he can cut off his penis.
Your plan is to vote Republican.
Yes.
The Republican Party is the party of freedom.
These are some of the voters that Donald Trump and his Republican Party desperately need in order to hold onto power. Conservative, mostly Christian women at a leadership summit hosted by Turning Point USA. The right-wing advocacy group led by Erica Kirk after the assassination of her husband, Charlie Kirk.
Love you guys.
Turning Point is influential with young voters. President Donald Trump has credited the organization with helping him get reelected and bringing more young voters into the conservative movement.
It's such a great place to be in here in America, is being young, being a female, being conservative, and they all just play hand in hand together.
But fractures in this movement are emerging. A main stage headliner is no longer backing Trump or Republicans, saying she won't vote in the midterms.
He made it seem like everything was going to become more affordable. Now the economy's worse. He promised no more wars in the Middle East, and we are in a war. So it's disappointing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Savannah Stone is a 21-year-old trad wife influencer with 800,000 followers on social media. She is a rising star in Christian conservative circles, even though she embraces highly controversial fringe positions.
I'm going to start this off really strong. I don't think women should vote anyways. If somebody asked me, if the government was like, okay, if we could have a more conservative country, if all women gave up their vote, I would gladly give up my right to vote to have a more conservative country. There's a lot of churches that talk about it.
Stone argues that women voters are too liberal, so the U.S. should shift to a one vote per household system.
Now, is that a hill I'm going to die on and run for office and try to complete? No. That's not my main message. That's just one of the opinions that I hold, because I think that would be better for society.
I actually do agree with her. I would as well give up my vote if it got rid of things like abortion.
We spoke with several women open to giving up their own rights in pursuit of a more Christian conservative America.
My perspective as a Christian woman is that my husband and I are one flesh. I vote the same way he does, so honestly, I would be okay with giving up my right to vote because I know that he would represent me well.
If my husband's the head of the household, I am the neck, and we work very cohesively together. So I would imagine if he was voting on behalf of our household, I would be fine with that.
Do you think your daughter should have the right to vote?
I'd be okay if she didn't, because I also know she's going to marry a biblical man, that they would also be in line.
But the vast majority of women here say this remains a conversation for the fringe.
I think the best thing that we can do is hold conferences like this to educate liberal women and hopefully sway them to the conservative side. I think women should be voting.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give up my right to vote ever.
And most women we spoke with plan to exercise their right to vote in the midterm elections. Most plan to support Republican candidates. Most are united by their socially conservative views.
It's all about the...
Okay, so I'm not going to continue that. It's a couple of more, probably about another 2 minutes left on that video, which I pulled from YouTube. But, and I need to take a break as well. But many of us kind of either didn't take it seriously, skimmed over, didn't read, missed one of the goals of Project 2025. And some of the religious folks that are in this conservative sphere of influence who are saying that women should not be voting. One pastor basically said that women were like children. God put men here to protect children and women, and that we were not capable of engaging in war, and therefore shouldn't be voting because politics was a form of war. And we were not, not capable. And there are actually women, and I'll mention this real quick when I come back. They reference this trad wife. I'll tell you what that is. But there are actually women that are going around, younger women, who are now espousing the idea that it's okay for them not to have a vote because their husband, who is going to be this good Christian, God-fearing man, can vote for the family. And so I said, just going with y'all for a second. So what if your husband died? So do you have no political representation until you remarry again? Or you got to depend on your daddy to vote for you or your brother? Do you realize what era we going back to, what these people are talking about? Because we literally did have a period when women could not vote. You could not get a credit card in your name. A man had to sign for you to be able to travel in some cases. You could not move around unescorted. And you got silly women talking about their Christian values that would literally say, I am okay, not only with taking away my right to vote, I'm going to take it away from my daughter. Because we just assume my daughter's going to think the same way I do, believe what I believe, and marry a good Christian man. The same Christian man who would hang a black man and burn him at the stake, because them was good Christians. There was a lot of Bible thumpers that was doing that. The same good Christians that would be racist and racially discriminatory in their hiring practices and where they want to live, the whole 9 yards. See, people, and I got to go to break, but I appreciate sometimes when Al calling here and he expresses a degree of frustration that is so severe that you can feel it through the phone because people talk out both sides of their neck. How the hell you a good Christian, but you okay with other people's faces being eliminated, unable to work, history being swiped away, but you a good Christian though? Them the same damn good Christians that would rather drain a swimming pool than allow a black child to swim in it. I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. I do have a guest that has joined me in the studio, so I'm going to wrap up what I was talking about. I'll circle back around, though, before I get out of here today. But I just want to flag. So when I talked about the connection to Project 2025, there's the real connection is the Heritage Foundation. Project 2025 talked about all these voting restrictions that would adversely and disproportionately impact women, obviously people of color. So that's kind of that correlation. But Jermaine, he said, but yeah, connected to, what's going on in Alabama, Michelle. And so just so folks know, this just was put out a couple of days ago. Delegates to the Southern Baptist Convention's annual meeting voted Wednesday to advance a constitutional amendment that would exclude churches from the denomination if they affirm, appoint, or endorse women serving as pastors. The amendment passed by a vote of 6,028 to 2,026, easily surpassing the 2/3 threshold required for constitutional changes. Delegates will have to approve the measure again at the convention's 2027 annual meeting in Indianapolis before it officially becomes a part of the SBC Constitution. The amendment states that cooperating Southern Baptist churches may not act to, quote, affirm, appoint, or endorse a woman serving in the office or function of a pastor, elder, overseer, specifically preaching to the assembled congregation. The vote marks the latest development in a years-long debate within the nation's largest Protestant denomination over the role of women in church in leadership. So it's a longer article, but I at least wanted to put that out there, that there is a concerted effort to begin to roll back, limit, shut out women in terms of leadership roles in the faith community. And that just cannot be lost on anyone. But since I am speaking of the faith community for a second, let me also acknowledge and thank you to Dr. Williams for making sure that we knew that this vote was happening. But thank you for flagging it for me on yesterday. For those of you who know Reverend Shaw, the pastor of St. Matthew CME Church, which is where we hold community brainstorming every month, Reverend Dr. Richard D. Shaw, in the 3rd Episcopal District, is elected the 70th bishop in the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church on the 2nd ballot. So let me say that again because I butchered it trying to get it out. Pastor Shaw from St. Matthew CME Church has been elected on the 2nd ballot as the new 70th bishop in the CME Church. And we just need to say congratulations to this brother. Good guy, good man. And I know that, he will do a phenomenal job and represent well. So with that being said, it's ironic that I'm having this faith kind of vein of conversation this morning, given the guest that I have who has joined me in the studio. And we were just talking first time in the studio, none other than, the boss baller, Erica Rush. What's going on?
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
I am great, wonderful, peaceful.
Look, you look like somebody I know.
Oh, it would be a little lady named Commissioner Hattie Daniels Rush, would it?
Oh my God.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. None other than the daughter of Commissioner Hattie Daniels Rush. I tell people all the time, I said, honey, did nobody love me? and baby me, when she saw me hit that door, come on, sit down. Say, leave her alone, leave it. I used to get in trouble when we would be talking about the Lego stuff.
Right.
Girl, your mama had my back and defend me 20 ways for Sunday.
Well, I'm glad to know that. So maybe next time around in another time, you can come and get some whoopings from me.
Oh, no, somebody got to carry that weight. That's how I get the good stuff because, you had to carry the weight. It is a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come.
So, when you walked in,
yes, ma'am,
there was a little bit of a informal reunion.
Yes.
Jermaine Wright, I saw your face and got excited.
Yes.
And we find out y'all go back to like when this boy was like 10, 11 years old.
Yes.
I'm talking about, she knows stories.
He's a great musician.
Thank you, Eric.
That's the only thing she'll say. She done told that line like 3 times. She will not move off that line. He's a great musician.
She knows some stories.
But you noticed since he was like 10 or 11, he's a great musician. So what goes on in the church, and I'll stay in the church. Yeah, I feel some Vegas action happening up here. Saints. I'm just saying, where's the transparency, saints? So, Erica, you have been busy.
Yes, ma'am.
Holding down Legacy, making sure that programs stay intact.
Yes, ma'am.
Doing the work that continues to help folks grow both in their journey in
yes,
faith,
ma'am,
and as young adults influencing young people, young children.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got something going on we need to talk about this morning.
Yes, ma'am. So I have the opportunity to be a legacy carrier, which is just amazing. It's been an amazing start off journey. I look forward to continue the legacy of my mother, as well as my uncle Bishop Daniels. But this weekend, actually tomorrow, we are celebrating Juneteenth at the Institute for the Preservation of African American Music and Arts on 32nd in Hampton. It's tomorrow evening from 4 p.m. until, and we are celebrating the Christian Business and Professional Alliance for 45 years of being able to give out scholarships to young ladies to prepare them for college.
And so, first of all, so for folks that are not completely familiar with the Alliance and the type of work that you do, is it just about the scholarship piece, or what else does it entail?
So my grandmother had an amazing vision a little over 45 years ago.
And who was your grandmother?
My grandmother is the illustrious Catherine Daniels, Mother Catherine Daniels.
All right.
She took Bishop and my mother over to Chicago to a African American cotillion. And so she said, I want this to happen here in Milwaukee. And my mother took the vision of my grandmother, formulated the CBPA, Christian Business and Professional Alliance, where it has just changed the lives of hundreds of young ladies in the city, from etiquette to educational preparation to a cultural weekend where she took the young ladies to various locations for play, dinner experience. It's just an amazing experience. I did it 19.
I'm sorry. Did you? Because it wasn't clear what you was
back in the 1990s. That's the best way I can say.
I heard you clear your throat, so I missed the numbers.
And so during our senior year in high school,
okay,
it starts in the fall, and we go through training from September all the way. The last day is the day after Thanksgiving.
So this is quite a process.
Yes, ma'am.
Any idea how many young people have come through the program?
Oh, just imagine at least some years we had over 25 young ladies.
Okay.
So for 45 years, we've been able to touch at least 4,500 young ladies.
That's a crazy number.
Yep.
You know, and it's so the way you talk about your grandmother going and visiting and seeing this cotillion, seeing what's happening in another city. That's how we come to celebrate Juneteenth in the way that we do here in Milwaukee.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, people traveling outside of the city, the state.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think it was Margaret Henderson who goes to Atlanta and sees this celebration and comes back to Milwaukee like, we got to do this.
Right.
And now here we are in the state of Wisconsin, the city of Milwaukee, second longest Juneteenth. Like, I keep telling people the power of one.
Power of one.
You know, if you're willing to then find folks to help you with the vision and put that work in, but one person can literally change a community.
Can change it tremendously.
You know, and you see your grandmother's name over there on the block.
Yes.
And you understand, like, this woman was a force, man.
She was. I can remember when I was young, watching my grandmother always be a giver. That was the example I saw of her being committed to her walk with Christ, but also being committed to making sure that she could help the needs of the community, which trickled down to her children. And so I have seen my mother and my uncle, currently my aunt and my remaining uncle, still give to the community, because that's the foundation tenets that we have as a family.
So, you know, it's crazy. A lot of people think about cotillions and, you know, it conjures up different things. For
yes,
different
ma'am.
Folks. Some of it is, you know, it's for the bougie.
No, ma'am.
And, you know, people talk about the story history of in the white community, they would have these cotillions where they would have the daughters of wealthy families that are presented to society. And this is your coming out, if you will.
Yes, ma'am.
But that there were Black folks working in these houses.
Yes, ma'am.
And working around these communities who saw that, understood the value in certain aspects of it, repurposed it.
Yes.
And brought it to the Black community.
Yes.
And this was Black men.
Yes.
That, you know, had access.
Yes.
And so the first group that they talk about was a group of brothers they formed the Illinois Club, which was actually in New Orleans.
Yes,
in 1895.
that is correct.
Yeah, can you tell people a little bit about the history of cotillions and how this
So,
starts?
ironically, as you stated, our foreparents watched other cultures present their young ladies to celebrate their accomplishments. And so, as you stated, it was primarily something that was a Southern tradition. And then as time matriculated on, it came north as our people came north. But then we wanted to be able to celebrate as well. And we didn't want it to come off as you had to be a certain caliber of individual. We want to celebrate our young people too. And that's why it came to our culture, because we feel the need that our people are just as great and are greater than others. We may not say it all the time, but that's the feeling that we want to bring.
You know, when you think about when they talked about repurposing it, so we're talking about community service, we're talking about scholarship, education, we're talking about family and legacy. It is nothing like seeing these parents, you know.
It's nothing like seeing the parents. The parents sometimes are way more excited than the young ladies. I know my parents, it was like their cotillion. I'm like, yes, not a problem. My father was so excited. My mother as well, and my family. And as I went through the process, because I actually grew up for the whole 45 years. So I was a flower girl from the beginning, went through every year from a flower girl, sub deb, junior deb, to ultimately becoming a debutante. Then said to my mom, I'm really interested in, continuing to work on the committee. And my mom said, okay, well, nothing is handed to you. You have to work for it. And so I had to show my commitment level. And then when my mother decided, okay, I have a lot on my plate and my daughter seems to get it, then she passed the mantle to me.
And so what has the work been like, though? Because, we see people changing sometimes values about the things that are a priority, cultural things that we held close to the vest that, now some parents are not sending their kids in this direction. Some kids don't get this exposure. So has it been hard to keep it going?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
To be very transparent, we had during COVID, of course, had to pause. But since then, we have had an influx of inquiry from the community saying, hey, we need this back for our young people.
Okay.
So it has been a great demand to ensure that we bring the programming back. And so we are working and making sure that we bring it back in a style that's stellar. And so this reunion is the kickoff for the relaunching of the program.
And so this is happening tomorrow. On Juneteenth Day. Now, is there a cost to attend? What do people need to know about?
So there is a minor cost to attend, and we want to make sure that we provide that information from our office. If anyone is interested, of course, they can contact us at 414-397-2222. Again, that number is 414-397-2222. We have individuals that will assist you in acquiring a placement for the celebration tomorrow. And so we have a number of former debutantes that have come in to celebrate the reunion. Everyone is saying, we got to do this for Miss Hattie. We got to do this for Miss Hattie. So I am just so proud to be her daughter to make sure that this happens.
I saw something about like they tell people kind of like the lay of the land, what's going to happen tomorrow. So I saw that there is like the reception kind of period of time.
Yes.
Because what time does it start?
It starts at 4 p.m.
I got to go to Juneteenth now. So what time?
I understand. So that's why I want to make sure.
King Drive. So what's happening?
I got to make it to King Drive too. Okay. There's no way in the world in my household on a Juneteenth we did not make it to King Drive.
Come on now.
Okay. Even if we sat in the parking lot of Burger King. Okay. We made it to King Drive to walk down to connect and celebrate with everyone. So I will be doing the same tomorrow.
Okay.
We start at 4 p.m. And we have a tea hour where it is a reception. Saints, they got a lot to offer. Okay, the menu just goes from everywhere. Okay,
Because I saw they said like a soul food.
and then at 5 o'clock we do a soul food dinner.
I'm coming to eat, man.
The soul food dinner is to make sure we continue to celebrate our legacy for Juneteenth. So the tea hour will be taking time to do photos, class photos from former debutantes. We have this new innovative idea where people can leave messages, anything they've ever wanted to say to my mother. There will be phones there to leave her a message.
That's crazy.
And so and then at the Institute for the Preservation of African American Music and Arts, they will be then unveiling a temporary showing of the cotillion from the past 45 years. So they will be transforming one of the rooms into a CBPA room, which I am excited to see.
So like, what we gonna get dresses? We gonna get like
So,
exhibit?
they have
photos?
exhibits. They have photos. A number of the former debutantes have done videos. It has just been a outpouring of celebration. So this room is a room that is being transformed to represent the 45 years of service.
So now, what if I have no connection? Like nobody in my family ever did the cotillion.
So
I really
what?
don't know
Please
anything
come.
about it. Is this something for me to come to too?
Yes, it's for everybody to come because we want people to come so we can get the word out. This is for everybody. I want to ensure that we continue to pour into our community in a positive aspect.
And so someone just texted and said, so how do I get ticket information or where do I go?
Call 414-397-2222.
414-397-2222.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So last thing, you're not gonna tell us no stories about Jermaine?
I think Jermaine was a escort for the cotillion a long time ago.
Yeah, I sure was. I was.
Who let
I was
their
just-
daughter?
I
Listen
promise you.
Who let their daughter?
I was actually about to say
be
that.
escorted by this man?
Hey, listen here, you'd be surprised. You know, I just said,
Were you really?
Yeah.
You were an escort.
Yeah,
Yes.
years ago. Yeah.
And he had to go through training as well.
Yeah.
That's somebody gotta have a
Years ago.
photo. I need photos.
Hey, listen,
I need photos.
It's a lot of stuff y'all don't know. Y'all just see this side of me, but y'all don't know. In my past life, man, I was a Puerto Rican. So that's in my past life. See, y'all don't know that.
What? You grew out of being a Puerto Rican?
I grew out of being a Puerto Rican.
On those church trips.
Yeah.
See, she was about to tell. She dropped a little nugget.
Hey.
I was about to get some.
Right.
The church.
I
So
grew
we
out of being
know.
a Puerto Rican,
She was letting me know. Michelle will leave you some breadcrumbs.
Right.
Follow up on the church trip.
I was just saying, who do I trust? Me. That's what.
Well, Erica, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you
This
for
is
having me.
another added, element and depth to Juneteenth celebrations tomorrow. And folks, 5 minutes ago, the city of Milwaukee just raised the Juneteenth flag downtown. Thank you to Alderwoman Larissa Taylor, who she was trying to call in earlier this morning, couldn't get in, but she wanted us to know that the Juneteenth flag has gone up.
I have to go take a picture now.
Yeah, look, she sent me the address where you can see it. Hang on. Let me see. She sent the address. It is flying at 809 North Broadway.
809?
So, yep, 809. Good morning, LaToya Sykes. I see you. 809 North Broadway. So the flag has gone up. And kudos to the city of Milwaukee, where some folks are walking back they're walking right, right into it. Marching.
And I just
straight
want to
head
tell
on.
our community, we can do whatever we want to do to enrich our community. And I want to challenge our community to do things that we can do to enrich our community.
We got the Juneteenth watch band on.
Yes, ma'am. All day long. Every day.
I'm loving it. Although it's funny because the actual Juneteenth flag picture thing is blue and white.
Yes.
It's not red, black, and green. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I think it was Vaughn Mays. He saw the blue and white, logo and design. And Vaughn Mays was like, what the hell is this? Who messing with the Juneteenth? And you're like, nah, bro, that's actually what it is. It's the blue and white.
Right.
But red, black, and green is gone forever.
Ever.
Because that's Pan-African. That's everything. That's us all over the world, the diaspora.
Yes.
So thank you, sis.
Thank you.
Pleasure. I am
Thank you
so
for
glad.
having me.
Please don't be a stranger, man.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
And you know what? As you start taking the applications, you need to reach out to people. Come back and holler at them.
Thank you. I surely will.
Because right now, who was that showing me videos of our girls fighting over at the Walgreens?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Is that on North Avenue?
Brady Street. Yeah.
So maybe we can pull some of these cats out.
Yeah, that we need to get a hold of.
Give them a
Right, we got to get a hold of
different
them.
view. And I like the whole the tea concept.
Yes.
I miss the George Watts tea room.
Yes.
We would actually go down there just to chill.
Yep.
There was one school. They would bring their kids down there for field trips.
Yep.
And
My mom used to take me.
Really?
Mhm.
Man, you can't sleep on that stuff.
You can't. You can't.
So let me ask you this, E.
Sure.
Is there any way that we can get something started for the young black men?
Of course. Let me tell you what you already have.
The Cotillion?
You have Alive. Alive provides a lot of programming for our African American males.
Okay.
They do internships. They do a lot of training. They take them for exposure.
Wow.
So a lot of times when you hear let me just give you an example. When we had the NFL draft,
Yeah.
they took the young men.
Oh, wow.
So Alive makes sure that they provide the resources. We just have to tap into it.
Now, because I really believe, and Deion Sanders say it a lot, when you look good, you feel good, and by you feeling good, it causes you to make better decisions because you feel good.
That is very true. I've taught in a school setting for a number of years, and because I poured into my young people and made them know that whatever they want to do, the sky's the limit. I saw the results.
There you have it.
All right. And so if anybody wants information about the group that Erica is referencing, you can actually just Google alivemke.com and all the information about them will come up, how to get engaged, how to get young brothers connected. So this definitely is out there.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
Is it too late for brothers like me?
It's never too late.
Hallelujah.
See,
it's never too late.
Let me help you out.
It's over.
That's the church answer.
Yeah, it's over.
It's not too late.
That's the church answer.
Say, give it up. Give up the ghost.
These streets.
It's over. They give it up. It's over.
But I like the optimism of the church.
Hey.
I do.
It's not too late.
It ain't too late. Okay.
You heard what I said, right? That's the church answer. That's what folks still praying for you. Praying for you answer.
So keep on holding on.
There are others of us that have just walked on by. All right, y'all. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We'll be right back.
WNOV.
All right, family. Welcome back to the show. So I said I was going to circle back to the conversation I was having just for a second. Mention that phrase, trad wives. That is short for traditional wives. This is a group of women. You're seeing a lot of it on social media who have said that they value traditional 1950 style gender roles. And so, they are the dedicated homemakers. Their priorities are cooking and baking from scratch, homeschooling and child rearing and their husbands are the sole financial provider in the house. And it's interesting. They want this 1950s Leave It to Beaver. Can you turn that down for me? I'm getting that. But this whole 1950s Leave It to Beaver, June Cleaver, lifestyle. And you got to be damn kidding me. Like, you literally got to be kidding me. I don't have no problem with baking from scratch. But why? It's enough people baking every day. Why put somebody else out of business? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's something to be said for knowing how to make your own stuff. But I only do that every day. And some of y'all ain't prepared to homeschool nobody. Your kid's going to be dumb as a box of rocks. Particularly if you believe women shouldn't have the right to vote. You making me scared. So I just wanted you to know that that's that term. You'll see it now being said, trad wives, traditional wives, but based on the 1950s. Yes. What you got? Some of the comments. Some how badly dressed some people dress at they got some beef going on. George John stop beefing on social media. They going at it. Because I know I saw something about just because you can wear something don't mean you should. I say that on a daily.
Which is true.
Look, come on, fam. Like I said, it wasn't number booty cheeks at that New Edition concert. Cheeks. And it's like, these is old cheeks.
Saggy cheeks.
Stretched out cheeks. I'm just saying, like, fam. Like, and some of these wasn't old women. They just had
old cheeks.
Just dressed inappropriately, man. I'm like, come on, man. You ain't flexing. Anyway, let me stop. People like Michelle body shaming. I ain't body shaming, but I ain't come here for that. Okay. Shut up, Jermaine. I can't stand you. I'm coming to the phone line. I want to make sure I mention two things, though, before I do, because I end early today. Number one, tonight I am actually going to be hosting a discussion with attorney Thomas Jacobson, talking about his book that he has written, somebody that was immersed in civil rights litigation, helping folks that were fighting for freedom. So there is a book, Fighting for Justice in Milwaukee. This is the conversation, Fighting for Justice in Milwaukee. And so I am actually going to be hosting this conversation with attorney Tom Jacobson, talking about how he was a part of representing the folks that were involved in the Oshkosh student uprising back in the late 1960s. I think it was like 68. And he represented Daniel Bell's family, Father Grappi, and the 200 Days Marchers, former Alderman Mike McGee, Dick Gregory. He was a partner with Lloyd Barbie. And so it is going to be an interesting conversation. You got to have these talks to be able to appreciate where we have come as we are and the journeys that still lies ahead. Things that we thought were settled law are back. Because there will be people who have been dedicated to reversing those wins when we got them. So I am going to be over at the spot. It's called Diaspora MKE, 735 East Center Street. And their tagline, Culture, Community, and Connections, Diaspora MKE. If you haven't been to this spot, please check us out tonight. And we will be there from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The other thing that I wanted to mention real quick, there was a press conference that was held maybe about a week ago now. And Jermaine brought it up when we were talking during the break. And I wanted to make sure I flagged it for the community. The city of Milwaukee had a press conference, I think it was on June 8th, in which they announced that more foreclosed properties for tax purposes are on the city rolls, and they were adding those to the list of properties for sale. I think they were adding an additional 11 houses when he was making the announcement. These are for owner occupants only. So you can't be a landlord trying to go in, swoop up and buy these properties. These are for, hey, Sister Herrera, these are for owner occupants only. If you want more information about how to find these listings, go to milwaukee.gov /city houses. Milwaukee.gov /city houses. You'll be able to get the listing of properties there. They have the whole scope, what the properties need, because they're being sold in as is condition. But this may be a good opportunity for someone who is seeking to buy a home, maybe a first home, to figure out what it would take to get one of these homes that the city has in their inventory. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yeah, good morning. I heard you speaking about traditional women.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is very tainted for any woman who want to give up her rights. And then I heard one woman say, because we're one flesh and be biblical. To me, I hear nothing but domestic violence cases, closed eyes, and concussions. Okay, because you know how men get when they're the king of the castle. And then when you look deeper in it, and this is why this can make a lot of people dumb. You're looking at a person who wrote something biblical that was probably diabetic, probably had the blood sugar of 600, 6 lidocaine packets, and taking metformin. And we're not going to even forget about gout. And they're going to tell you biblical. Half of the stuff where women didn't even have rights. Half of the stuff that these people are biblical don't even live by today. Why in the hell would you want to put that on yourself? Just come out and say you're lazy, you don't want to work, and you want to be used as a punching bag. Because you know that's why some of these people are all messed up in the head now. Some of these people grew up biblical, and some of their fathers was nothing but beaters in the house. The mothers is all jaded and bitter because she got oofed upside the head 24/7. Just they say biblical. Oh, they need to make that a felony. Yeah, I only see nobody saying that. You gonna give up your rights, and then you're gonna say, "Oh well, I would give it up if I know my daughter gonna have a man that's biblical." Don't you know getting a man from the church is the most messed up thing right now? How about this? 10 kids, 5 baby mamas, but they telling you how to live your life. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Let me just mention this. Alderwoman Larissa Taylor also is having a informal feedback session today. She does it every third Thursday over coffee. The spot is called True Brew Cafe, 6550 North 76th Street. She will be doing Taylor Talkbacks from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. I saw this the other day. I meant to mention it. So just so you know, you need to have access. And for folks, when I talked about the city houses being for sale, maybe this is something you can go and talk to her about and figure out, are there any in the community in the area? So just so folks know, these things are happening. I want to remind people, we will be WNOV broadcasting live from Juneteenth tomorrow. We'll go on the air at 7 a.m. We'll be operating until 3 p.m. We will be down by Rise and Grind. Please come through, visit, holler, wave at us. We will have Keith, our brother Kwaku. We will have guests coming in, circulating throughout the day. But look, we want to see you too. Roll through and holler at your people. That is my show for today. Let me take a quick break and then call her. Hang in there. I'll try and get you on the other side. Be right back, y'all.
Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family. I am wrapping the show for today. I will see everyone down at Juneteenth tomorrow. Kennedy, if you listening, I will be looking for my red drink. the traditional hibiscus tea. I cannot wait. You brought it to us last year. We're going to be waiting this year. So, Rhonda, Kennedy, I need y'all to get busy making my Juneteenth punch. All right, family. I appreciate the bros that made the show go today in the studio. Thank you to our guest, Erica Rush. And remember, show up tomorrow, support the vendors, and we're going to have a celebration and a good time. I'll see y'all.